Well, I suppose that's what. Good morning. This is the Outspoken artist here at Provision Coffee's third anniversary for the Cars and Coffee.
That's right. It is the third.
It's wild. I started my show, and one of my first few episodes was with Gabe here.
No kidding. Gabe Morris, right?
Yeah, it's been feel like 2 years since then. But these events bring really great people here. And John, I just met you because of the fact that my son, Anthony, he has a 50 Mustang Yellow. He calls it his Yellow Pony. And immediately I walk over there. I'm like, oh, let me take some pictures of the 50. My son will love it. And then I started looking around your car, and I started noticing that the car wasn't just here. It's not there for show. It's there for show, but also for a cause. And I saw a race for Dave, racing for ALS. And John, it's been wonderful meeting you and talking to you earlier this morning.
Well, my pleasure, and I'm glad you stopped by. We appreciate any type of, I guess you could say, advertising.
Yeah.
Because ALS is something that they know about as much as they did cancer 75 years ago. Okay? It's not uncurable. It's just underfunded. And Racing for ALS started when a driver that we all knew back in the Carolinas showed up for a time trial, and we all met him, David Lloyd and his brother, Scott. They were running a couple of very fast Camaros. And at that time, I had a Roush, and we were in the garage, and that's how we met. Well, a few months later, David was diagnosed with ALS. All right. So, it attacks the neurological and muscles, and it attacks anybody. I mean, from birth, it doesn't care who you are, from baby to senior, anyone in the world. And the research that's being done now at Duke University's neurology department, along with ALS TDI in Boston, they have now got the attention of the FDA, and as I believe they now have at least a supplement or some sort of way of extending the life of someone with ALS.
Yeah.
And David was with us for about 6 years or more. A couple of years ago, he passed away. But until then, he ran the organization, racingforals.com. And if you go to the webpage, you'll see exactly what we're all about. The racing community got together when we found out David had this terrible disease. And then, of course, everybody else on board, including being in the Carolinas. We had a few NASCAR teams, INSA teams, and racers of all types would show up at events, and the money that we contributed would be matched and or totally used 100% for research for ALS and a cure. Okay. Well, the next step was, all right, what do we do? Well, we'll invite people who have ALS, find out in the neighborhood community who has ALS that needs help. And eventually it was a 501c, I believe at the time, maybe, off on the number, but the point is that a foundation helped us through Hendricks Motorsports and other sponsors develop a program to have racetrack events, sometimes car shows associated with it, where we can actually take patients and family members and doctors and researchers for ALS around the tracks that we're at.
How fun.
At a safe speed, of course. But because a lot of these people, are facing a situation that nobody wants, but we really need to find a cure for this because it's becoming more and more apparent in towns and cities. You'll see on Facebook or Instagram a lot of different organizations and groups of people who have formed because the same town has so many with ALS. So there is a bit of urgency. Racing for ALS goes around to different racetracks around the country and car shows and promotes for the funding. We provide research funding. We have 3 electric wheelchairs, which they definitely will be needing. We have, I believe, now 3 vans that are totally equipped when they get in later stages and they have to have a driver and in that situation. And we also, if you know someone with ALS, a friend, a family member, whatever, contact David Lloyd at Racing for ALS. I'm sorry, Scott Lloyd, the brother. And he will give you the forms to fill out because we have a I guess you could call it a help package to get them started.
Yeah.
A grant. All right. You don't have to pay it back, to help them get through the journey and get the journey started. All right. And at least be able to share experiences to move them in the right direction. Right. So, if you go to racingforals.com, you'll see the full story. We have events coming up in September at Virginia International Raceway. I believe it's, don't quote me on this, but don't quote me on this on my camera, the 28th and 29th, that weekend, okay, of September. And anybody can enter. The Low Car Show with Sam Madavi will be there. Sam and Julie, the same ones that are on Sam's Garage on television on the old MAV TV, which is now Racer TV or Racer.com, and also Motorsports. So we'd appreciate any support you can give.
Yeah.
We have hats, caps, T-shirts. I didn't bring my cup, but you'll see it when you go by the car, and banners and decals, and
I saw your ALS at TDI.
yeah, yes, and ALS TDI. It's the ALS Therapy Development Institute, dedicated to finding a cure for ALS. They're at als.net. All right, so you can learn more about them. But we're here at the Krate, and thanks to Gabe Morris giving me an email and inviting me. I'm glad to be here. It's my second year with the group.
Nice.
And these are wonderful people. They do philanthropic work. They help out with different charities, things, and I appreciate you asking me to talk about this. This is dear to my heart.
Well, we technically were doing a little talk before we even started earlier.
Yeah,
we were just sitting down there, and
Yeah.
not only did I get to learn about all the work that you guys are doing for ALS,
Right.
but I also come to find out you were in broadcast as well. So,
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
so Shelby, tell me a little bit of what the early '90s were like for you.
Early 90s. Oh, goodness. All right. Well, first of all, let's go back to even the 60s when I was in university. I started at a local commercial radio station, $1.25 an hour. Yeah. Okay. And they taught you, it was commercial. So you had to do commercials, news. You learned everything.
Yeah.
Hardcore. After the Army, I went back to it and stayed with it. Third Channel Communications, I guess in 79 or so. But in that period, I started to DJ because the radio station allowed me to play a little more funkier, jazzier, Motownish,
Nice.
jazzish, whatever at that time. And then disco came in, right? So it was a mishmash of everything. And I was allowed to do that overnight for about 3 hours, as long as I played 4 off the top 40 charts is what the real was. Okay. I said, fine, I'll get 18, 20 songs I got to play an hour. I'm going to have a blast. So I started doing that. And a lot of the entertainers at the time in the 70s would finish their gigs, and they'd be going to wherever afterwards, and they'd hear the show. And I get a call from a manager, James Brown's a manager, said, look, I am a partner with someone else at the Atlanta International Hotel, this new club thing with DJs and vinyl. I like what you're playing. Can we duplicate that for happy hours? And that's how it started.
Nice.
As far as the entertainment part, on top of being on the air, commercial director, having a radio show, everything you do, fun runs, the whole bit. So I end up in 92 getting a call to go overseas. And I say overseas with Saudi Aramco. And technically, I was supervising FM radio program. Of course, once you're there, you find that you do a little bit of everything.
Of course.
All right. So as it turns out, we took a 20 transmitter operation, turned it into a English broadcast network, non-commercial. We were doing public service as well. Every music format known to man. And we were getting it distributed through the United States, through Europe, etc. And all copyright approved, etc. So you could turn on any different channel and you would hear your favorite music in blocks of maybe 6 hours, 4 hours, etc. Everything from country to rock, pop, classical, jazz, and dance music.
Nice.
And about that time, 92 or so, Tiesto, Armin van Buuren, everybody was just getting their start. And of course, we're close to Bahrain, where they had entertainment that we attended. And of course, that was one of their first gigs. I go there, I get a call. Hey, next time you're back in the States for vacation, show up in Miami. I did. Winter Music Conference, Miami Music Week. I run into people that used to give me records, like Dan Glass with Glass Note Music. At that time, he was with Chrysalis. And God rest his soul, Ozzy Osbourne was one of his artists. And Billy Idol, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, Huey Lewis and the News, the Romantics. In fact, I was working at a radio station where we would be with them in their ready room before they go on stage to make sure everything was in place, etc., and that the main guys who were announcing, everything was connected, sort of a staff crew, road crew, whatever you want to call it. But you had a chance to actually just be one-on-one with these artists in their quietest moments.
Nice.
And it was cool because there were no cameras, there were no selfies. It was just part of the day. And you went home at night and went, wow, that was really neat today. What's tomorrow? And that's the type of broadcasting I grew up in. And then overseas, we were able to do the same in different countries. And, the local communities would have functions and birthdays and DJ parties and, backyards and that sort of thing. But then Dubai opened up and Bahrain and all that. So I'm going to the Winter Music Conference on my breaks. Before you know it, we're doing a analog to digital process. I'm producing music and getting it promoted for independent artists because everybody was in their bedroom making songs. And some of them were picking up big contracts. But how do you start? So I was the moderator for a few panels at Winter Music Conference over the years. 2018 was the last year I attended. So that's basically that history. And as far as the car, in a year I'll have 50 years as a member of Sports Car Club of America. I started in 1977 at Road Atlanta with an Austin Marina GT. It's like a little sedan, like a Corolla, it had a little fastback to it, MGB motor in it, and little arm lever shocks,
Nice.
Yeah, the old school MGB stuff just thrown in the city. But it was a blast. And that showroom stock was you run what the dealer gave you. And so we'd all be going through the turns like this, and then the next turn like this. It was like a ballet,
That's funny.
at speed. But so that's kind of my background. Did a lot of radio and TV commercials through SAG-AFTRA.
So 50 years, part of that.
Yeah,
50 years. What do you recommend? Do you think that a lot of these younger generations that are out here, a lot of young people here within the car scene, what benefit do they get from being part of a group or club or whatever it might be?
I think what I like is you feel like you have another family to go to, that you focus in on the car. And every club that I know of, everybody had a beater that they started with, okay? I mean, my first car was a Vega, 1973. That brand new car was a Vega. That was my treat for getting out of the Army alive. So, but before then, anything that had wheels, you drove when you were younger, right? And you can actually do modifications one thing at a time to make it yours. And, you choose the level of involvement with these clubs. Sometimes they just go out to dinner and they do car shows. Sometimes they're involved in charity. Sometimes they do rallies where you go between towns and visit places and see the state. You didn't know it was there.
Right.
And it's just another extended family, but it also gives you an outlet to think about one thing, what you're doing at that moment, which is the same thing with Autosports, whether it's Autocross or whether it's just track days, or time trials or rallies. SCCA offers all of that, SCCA.com. Cascade down to see all the different things available. I'm on staff with Track Night in America, which we do day events as well. In fact, I just came back from Daytona, and most of us are experienced in a little bit of everything, from running grid, coach, safety, corner worker, control. I was a timekeeper this time, controlling the groups. We had 120 cars, and these are street cars, street legal cars that you can take on the track. Haggerty's one of our sponsors, so you can get
You can tell Haggerty's, yeah.
Huh?
You mentioned them before when we were talking.
Yeah, Haggerty, along with they offer a discount along with Tire Rack.
Yeah.
And they've been with us for a long time. And usually the guys that do that branch out into time trials, right? Or from there, time attack,
Yeah.
or road race, okay? Or maybe even rallying, you know, regional rallying where they have a dirt patch that, they have pylons up and you're out there having a good time. And so many different forms. They sometimes go between different tracks over a period of, say, 4 days and do different disciplines, right? Which includes everything, driving down the middle of the street, car shows, maybe a charity,
Yeah.
maybe they're called Targas, Targa. SCCA has now introduced that, and they'll do them in regions around the U.S. so that no matter where you are, you have an opportunity. You and the family, pack it up, let's go.
Nice. Very nice.
And some of the events do not require helmets, right? Because you're doing either just slow driving in a parking lot or just a lap of a racetrack at 35 miles an hour, that sort of thing. Just so you have the experience of, oh, hey, I was at Virginia International Raceway. I was at Road Atlanta,
Right.
Oh yeah, we did the autocross on the skid pad, but we also did a parade lap around the track, followed each other. And so the kids could see and the family could see what I'm doing out here or why I enjoy this so much, you know? So it's the complete package. And with any organization, Sports Car Club of America being one of them, you have to have volunteers to do an event,
Right.
timers, gatekeepers, the registration, keep track of everybody, make sure they have water, hydrate, food, etc. You know, you have to watch out for each other. So it creates a oneness with one purpose, and that's to have fun with cars. So you also see on my car, #fun with cars. Well, that's what that's all about. And there are no barriers, you know. You'll see cars that are, GT4 prepped cars, and they might be there just to test the brakes or whatever. And they're in an advanced group, of course. But a novice group, you're novice. We have instructors for novice, intermediate, and advanced as far as any of the groups, time trials, and also track night in America, and track days, that sort of thing. So as far as autocross, we have a couple of different programs. Women at the Wheel is one of them, where it's strictly run by women for women. And we're the corner workers.
The one thing we haven't seen is your car. I mean, I'm going to show
Yes.
some pictures or videos of it, but let's see this 5.0 pony, as my son will call it.
Yeah, it is. And I appreciate that. As a matter of fact, I'll just throw this up. This is for one of the SCCA track experiences at Homestead, Miami. And I had an instructor with me because it was my first time there, and I just wanted to know where the braking points were, and it was well worth having. So that's an example of what you can do with a regular street car. You have track insurance from Haggerty, and away you go. There are a lot of other sponsors that help us out with SCCA. Tony, we have, let's see. Of course, now's the time for me to draw a blank. My car will have a lot of the sponsors on it, but
It's funny because right now, the one time there's a cloud, I'm getting that beautiful overcast lighting, but it's a cloud like this big, so it's about to open up again, and I'm gonna get blasted. No, but it's good. No, I'll show all the sponsors and whatnot in the car as well. One thing I want to make sure, I know you mentioned it, at the websites. Where can people find not only Racing for ALS, but anything else in social media where people can?
oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. While I was overseas, IT was just starting to learn what servers were, right? And we started taking the shows from the artist from Winter Music Conference that would give me their promos and say, I don't have the money for it. Can you listen to this, and if it's worthy, can you highlight it in your radio show called Club Chaos? So I did a separate show just from the Winter Music Conference, and it was only from artists that would send me their demos. Well, back then they were vinyl and CD, right? No MP3s. Well, then it became MP3, so it was easy. Once everybody got dialed in with the internet around the world, I was able to accept them even as WAP files and convert them. Oh, what a beautiful Cobra. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Harold Shelby in the house. Today, as a matter of fact, on splash985fm.com out of Atlantic City, it's WCSK FM, actually, 98.5. They broadcast dance music all 24 hours a day, all right? And at 6 o'clock, Club Chaos Rumia. So I'm mentioning this because there's club-chaos, chaos.org, radio shows from 2006 until 2021.
It's a long tenure.
Okay. At that point, I had retired, and now the radio stations are going back into the server, and I'm saying, okay, here's the playlist. Play this one. Play this way.
Nice.
So it's sort of a history of dance, and the different styles that were coming and going during the time from 2006 till 2021, almost 2022, actually. All right. So it's mixcloud.com, Club Chaos Radio, soundcloud.com, Club Chaos, and Instagram, Club Chaos.
I like the name.
And you'll see John P. D'Angelo Jr. with my Racing for ALS hat, which, by the way, can be purchased online, and the donation goes all to research for a cure for ALS. Bada boom. And hats, caps, T-shirts, and everything else.
Stickers. We got stickers. They ran it all.
Right. So, and on Facebook.com, it's John P. D'Angelo Jr. is one of them. The other is Club Chaos DJ and Club Chaos Producer.
Nice.
So it's hard to keep up with everything, but usually I do more on Instagram as it relates back and carries over into Facebook, and then I go back and check everywhere else. So that's where they can find me and get in touch with me. Anything that has to do with media, maybe I could give you some advice on some of the experiences and mistakes I made and pass them along to you. Media is changing so fast, it's always the next best thing. But a lot of times you have to know how it got there.
Right.
And this is what I do at the Winter Music Conference with the analog to digital, basically in the radio promo seminars that I do. And hopefully they'll invite me back this coming March. Hopefully, Sammy. They haven't had it because of the situation we had in 2020 onward.
Right.
And now they're getting, sponsors organized. And I think hopefully they'll start up again. But again, anybody in your family with ALS, racingforals.com, contact Scott Boyd, and you can learn about his brother David and the full story at racingforals.com.
Awesome. John, it's been a pleasure. I'm so glad I stopped by. Hello.
And I appreciate you asking.
We'll be in touch. Because I tend to keep in touch with people that I talk to, because it's like your story about when you see these recording artists in their element and their day-to-day, those moments, these conversations that I have with people, but you stick with me. They just do. And I like to stay in touch with people. And I like what you guys are doing. So that's another reason why I'll probably most likely stay in touch.
All right.
Thank you.
And you're welcome. And I appreciate everything you do. And I just checked out your website, and you got a friend for life.
Awesome. John, great to meet you.
All right. Again,
see ya. Thank you. So hot.